Welcome back to In the Cage with Bards here on NextSportStar.com. And joining me now, we have a true giant, a true warrior in Canadian mixed martial arts, someone who decided to hang up the gloves after his recent absolute war with Mark Holst at the final Rec MMA show in the Ottawa-Gatineau area. The leader of Team Bushido, I call him the Canadian Randy Couture, the one, the only, Nabil the Thrill Khatib rejoins the program. How you doing, Nabil?
Wow. I don't know what to say after that huge introduction.
Well, I'm just trying to capture the spirit of the moment. You know, I was disappointed to hear that you retired, to be quite honest with you, my friend. You've given us such great memories over the years. And while I understand that you maybe think it's time, there's a lot of disappointed fans out there, my friend.
Wow, that's, it humbles me. It just makes me feel, it just makes me feel so appreciated. And and I really appreciate what you're saying, and I appreciate all the fans that were out there that have been there for me for years, and all the fans have been so good to me, and always giving me some compliments and great comments, especially after I sent out that press release. Literally gotten hundreds of replies, and it's really heartfelt. I really feel warm.
Yeah, well, you've got that effect on people, Nabil. People just they look at you and they hear you talk, and there's a real genuine feeling about the words that come out of your mouth, and the way you project yourself. It's just something that I think people can identify with. I can't exactly put my finger on what exactly it is. It's kind of like a Rocky kind of factor where people look at you and you're someone that seems to be able to overcome the odds, and I think that's something that strikes a chord with a lot of people, just to make them think that they can achieve their own goals and their own dreams. So how does that feel to be regarded as an inspiration like that?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. It feels you know what, I don't know if you read the quote that I quoted something that I actually said myself, but on the press release that it may not necessarily be the act of the goal itself, but rather the trip to get there, the voyage to that goal, and my goals, of course, have always been to get a title, to get a title belt and fight for the UFC. But on my route to that destination, which I never reached, I met some amazing people, and I had some amazing experiences, and I think that's probably more important than the goal itself. So, and for you to say these things to me and have people tell me all the positive vibe that I pass on to them. It's a very good accomplishment for me, so it feels very good.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. And you went through an absolute war with Mark Holst in your final fight. You showed a ton of heart and just that real Bushido warrior spirit. Just take us back through the fight and just what you were feeling throughout that fight.
Well, I mean, the fight was a great fight, obviously. The way I was feeling was, he just like any other fight, he beats me to the punch, which most people do, and I had to get him to the ground, which I did a couple of times. The second time, it was too little too late. The first time I got him to the ground, I thought, okay, well, now I've got his number, which I would have, to be honest with you. I probably would have. I should say probably. I mean, I can't really predict what could have happened, but I would say I probably would have had him, had his number, had I, been able to pull him away from the ropes, because he did wiggle to the ropes. He used the rules to his advantage, and when he gets caught up in the ropes or whatever, they don't pull you to the center; they stand you back up again. Mm-hmm. And I got to give him credit. He did what he wanted to do, which is keep it standing. I clinched with him a few times. He hurt me a couple times with knees to the body, which of course I don't show that. I just keep going. My ribs are still a bit sore, but. Every time I clinch with him, I can hear his corner screaming, disengage, and I hear Pat clear as day, Pat Cooligan screaming, disengage, because he didn't want me to clinch with him, because he didn't want to fall to the ground. But, so I tried to hold the clinch and try to, work that, him screaming that sort of worked to my advantage to hold him there, to get him down to the ground. But to his credit, he held his own and kept it standing, so.
Yeah, what do you think about that rule where you get tangled in the ropes and they stand you back up? Because obviously, you've watched a lot of Pride, and they usually just drag you back to the center and make you work from there.
Well, I mean, the rule is a rule. You got to try and use the rule to your advantage. And to his credit, he used them to his advantage. And I don't think that the rule should be there. I think the rule should be changed to bring it back to the center. because you don't get your points for the takedown. You don't get your accredited aggressiveness for the takedown. And I think that's it's unfortunate. I mean, in Pride, of course, it did that, and overseas, it always did that. And I think that but I mean, at the same time, my very first MMA fight, I was caught on the ground. I don't know, somehow got me to the ground, and I held him in guard. The rope was there. I wrapped my leg around the rope on purpose. So, he stood us back up. It's just, you use the rules to your advantage. Right. And that's just the way it is. So he was smart enough to do it that way. I mean, what can you do? I hope the rules would be changed, but he used them to his advantage, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, and like I said, you showed a ton of heart throughout the fight. The first text I got after that fight was over from someone who was there ringside didn't say anything other than "wow." That was the sentiment that was left with me. And I'm not sure if you saw Mark's Facebook page, but after he had kind of a bit of a chip on his shoulder going into this.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if you saw this, but he posted, "Real talk, Nabil Khatib is the toughest man alive and has the heart of a champion. I have a lot of respect for him." Oh,
really? No, I didn't see that. That's nice. That's very, very nice. I'm glad he put that up in there. And again, I really had never had any problems with Mark at all. And he didn't touch gloves with me. I saw him in the sauna the day before for the weigh-ins, and he wouldn't shake hands with me, which is cool. He wasn't rude to me or nothing, but he didn't want to shake hands. He wanted to keep his sort of aggressive sort of attitude with me through the whole time until the end of the fight, which is totally understandable. But at the end of the fight, we squashed it. It was all good. So.
Yeah, it's always nice to see when things like that do get squashed, because even though we like as fans seeing people punch each other in the face, at the end of the day, I think we want to know that there is that respect there that really speaks to the high level martial artists that you guys really are.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know anyone really, to be honest with you, where I wouldn't have their back. Like, I'd have any of the fighters I've ever dealt with, fought, trained with, I'd have their back. So they ever need a hand or need a help or whatever the case, I'll be there for them, as much as possible. It's just that this is what we do. I have total respect for every one of them. And even the guys that go out there, don't touch gloves and say shit about whatever fighters they fight against. It's always just to hype it up, or it helps them build up their aggression to the fight. But after the fight, it's done. It's always done.
Yeah, so obviously the beef is squashed between yourself and Mark. What about Owama and Team Bushido? Is there still a bit of rivalry there, if only on a bit of a local bragging rights level?
No, not at all. We never really had. I mean, I never really had problems with Owama. It was just some of the things that they did. Sort of, it wasn't really anything they did. It was kind of like it's kind of what the students sort of portrayed, and it rubbed me a bit the wrong way. I had a chat with them. They talked with me, and we worked things out, and it's been really, really good. We have a good relationship with Nick and with Pat, and it's been good for a long time. And with Rec did a good job with the fighters and took care of me, took care of the rest of the fighters, and they put on a good show. So I'm sad to see them go. So no, I don't have a problem with the WAM at all.
Good, glad to hear that. And let's talk about the decision to retire. Was it made before you stepped in the ring that last time? Were you certain that you were going to retire, win, lose, or draw, or is this something that you evaluated afterwards?
It was afterwards. The fight itself, I was certain I was going to win. I was certain I was going to take him down. I was certain I was going to, either win a unanimous decision by ground and pound or whatever. I was looking for a submission, which is why, of course, I was trying to get him to the ground. But after the fight, after I wasn't able to do that, it just made me feel like, these guys, they're getting stronger, they're getting faster. Mark's striking was much better than the last time. He hit me much harder than the last time we fought. So you can see I was much more banged up than the first time. The first time I didn't even have a scratch, but this time he got his hands in there, and he got those elbows in there, and he hit me pretty good. So I don't know. I just having a really hard time with this. 4 losses in a row, and getting to this title and having 3 titles lost already, and trying to get into the UFC. They're looking for at least 3 or 4 wins in a row. It's just really, really tough, and I want to concentrate, on my guys and get them motivated and get them working towards their goals. And I think it's time that I give them a chance.
Yeah, and how hard is it for you personally just to walk away from competing? Because it's obviously what you love to do.
It's extremely hard. You have no idea. It took me probably about an hour to decide to click send when I made that press release.
Yeah.
And so it was very, very difficult. It's the sport that I love. I have a passion for it like nothing else. It's just something that's in me. I just love to compete. I love to win, yeah, of course, but it's not even about winning. It's just about the competition itself. That's why I wanted to have that fight with Mark, not because I wanted to win. Of course we want to win, but that wasn't the reason. The reason was because I wanted to have a good fight. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly what happened. We put on a good show, and that was my goal. My goal is always to win, but that was the ultimate goal, to make sure that the ref doesn't stop it for any silly reason.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and obviously there's still a little bit of that fire inside, I can tell just from talking to you. Is there any scenario that could lead you back for one more fight?
Absolutely. Tell Dana White, I'm in. I'm there. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. I'm there. I will do it at middleweight. I don't care. I'll do it at middleweight. I'll do it at welterweight. I don't know if I'd do it at light heavyweight, but I would definitely do it. I would be in there. So, if they have an injured fighter and they need a replacement, you talk to Dana White. You tell him I'm in.
Yeah, well, Tom Wright keeps saying that he's looking at the Ottawa area for maybe a fuel or an FX card or something like that. So, maybe just stay warm, stay in the area, stay ready to go. Who knows what'll happen, right?
It doesn't matter. I was at TriStar Gym yesterday training, or Monday, excuse me, doing my training. They all looked at me like I was crazy. I'm already back after 1 week of my fight. I said, hey, I miss you guys. I love this stuff. I can't stay away. Mike Ricci and Rick Hahn and everybody else, had a good training camp the last time for my fight, and I had a good training day on Monday. And, things are going to be back to normal in no time.
Yeah, so you're going to extend that relationship with TriStar, keep going there, keep bringing back new things to show the guys at Team Bushido?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. This is the best place in the world to train. So if you want to be the best, you got to train with the best and learn from the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look back at your career, what are the most vivid memories that stand out? The most the moments that give you the most pride, or however you want to define that. Just what sticks out, what jumps to the top of mind when you look back at your career.
There's so many. Honestly, I don't know. I think probably my one of the things that stand out is fighting my first welterweight fight. Fighting Gideon Ray, who was a UFC veteran, mm-hmm. And having that win. Fighting Ryan Ford was one of the toughest fights I've ever had. That was an amazing fight. I love it. And he's one of my training partners today. He's a good guy. We train at TriStar together.
Yeah, Ryan's a great guy.
Yeah, and then fighting Shoney Carter, that was a blast. That was so much fun, especially with this man with 200 fights. And winning was just to put the icing on the cake. So I don't really know. There's so many things that there's so many highlights in my career. It's really hard to point one out, because I just, again, like I said, I love the sport so much. It's just there's so many to point out. I just love the whole aspect of it.
Yeah. And obviously the sum total of your experiences, that's what got you to where you are now. But looking back, is there anything that maybe you wish you'd done a little bit differently or reacted to a little bit differently?
As far as, I'm not sure what you mean.
As far as just in your professional life, maybe something that you look back on, well, maybe if I turned left instead of turned right, it would have worked out better, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I have. If I look back at my fights, I'll definitely have those thoughts in my head in a lot of the situations. But really, to point any of them out, every one of my fights were experiences, good experiences, regardless. I think probably if I were to point one of them out in particular, would have been Solomon Hutcherson. He was able to get underhooks on me. Then I swimmed in there. I got the underhooks on me. We ended up throwing me anyway, with myself having to leverage. So now I know how to defend myself with that. I mean, it was again, everything's a learning experience. So everything you do in the fight that doesn't work for you, you end up learning how to do it afterwards. So there's too many things you could point out.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering how it feels to be able to just compete at that elite level right up till the end, considering that you had your first pro MMA fight at 36 years young?
Yeah, that's right, 36, yeah.
Yeah, so how does that feel to be able to start that late in life and still achieve the amount that you're able to achieve in the sport?
It feels good. It feels good. I would say it feels great because only because I didn't get to where I wanted to go. I'm certainly happy that I was able to do it. I wish I would have done it sooner at a younger age, but that wasn't the circumstances. But I'm so happy to have that experience because I wouldn't have changed it for the world. I started late in life, but I was able to do it in a mature way. My body was matured, my brain was matured, so I'm able to deal with things a little more, probably a little better than I would have at a younger age. Because at a younger age, I was a bit of a twerp, and I probably wouldn't have been able to deal with it properly.
And we mentioned it before, just because you're not an active competitor anymore doesn't mean you're stepping away from the sport. Still running Team Bushido and still passing on your knowledge to the next generation. Does it give you a vicarious feeling to be able to watch your students be able to continue to have success?
Yes and no. The thing is that everybody is such an individual. Even though we work together as a team, everybody's so different. Like, if, for example, my youngest competitor, Matt Papineau, he's got some skills that I wouldn't be able to use. He's got some movements that I couldn't do. Couldn't even dream of doing. He's got the speed. He's got the same aggressiveness, which is nice. He's got the same sort of moving forward attitude when it comes to fighting, which is great. But because everyone's different, it's very, very difficult to sort of live vicariously that way because everyone is different. I like to look at them as individuals and grow them according to what they're about, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and that's the mark of a great coach right there, to be honest with you.
I appreciate that. So it's important. Like, everyone's very different, and you have to guide them in different ways. Even though we're a team, everyone's still different, and you have to sort of recognize the differences between each one and the strengths and weaknesses of all of them.
Yeah.
And plan things out according to what they have.
Yeah. And now that Rec MMA has closed its doors, what do you think that means for the Ottawa MMA scene? Do you think that's going to limit the amount of opportunities that your guys at Team Bushido and other places in the Ottawa area, is that going to limit their opportunities now?
No, I don't think so. There's always fights in Montreal. There's fights down in in Sudbury and that kind of thing. There's always a place that we can find them fights, but it's just too bad that we can't keep Ottawa growing in the MMA scene in that sense. But the guys will always be able to find them fight somewhere.
Excellent. And last time I talked to you, you're gearing up for your Special Olympics fundraiser, the annual one at Team Bushido. And how did that go?
Oh my God, it went amazing. It was great. We had, like I said, we had Mike Ricci from the Ultimate Fighter. We had Ivan Manjavar, who just won by an amazing armbar at the UFC last weekend. Mm-hmm. And then we had, Raging Cajun Johnson, and we had James Thunder Poludna for Muay Thai classes. And everyone learned so much, and we had so much fun. And we auctioned off some items, who else? We had George St. Pierre gloves signed, autographed gloves. We had some T-shirts signed by some of the fighters. We had Mark Bochak signed some gloves for us. We auctioned everything off, and then we did about $2,000 for the Ontario Special Olympics, and it was really a lot of fun. So the whole day was amazing. It was really a lot of fun.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. And I've also been, checking your Twitter, checking your Facebook, and you're also getting involved in the Movember push as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I don't know if you've seen my picture lately or not, but I've actually gone the full Hogan. I've got the blonde stash and the blonde hair going. I'm ready to rock, brother.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, but I don't know if I could compare with yours. You're on another level, it looks like, man.
It's Lebanese, man. That's what we are. We grow stashes like it's nothing.
You can grow stashes in between rounds, it looked like sometimes.
Got it, yeah.
Well, what's next for the Team Bushido crew, Nabil? What's on tap for your guys there?
On tap, we got this Friday. We have an amateur show right here locally in Gatineau. It's Hybrid 13, the amateur MMA, and we got two fighters. We got Leo Lescott, his first MMA fight. He's had a couple of Muay Thai matches already. He's 1-1 in Muay Thai, and he's gonna step in the cage. Actually, it's the first time they're using a cage for the amateur show. It's going to be in Gatineau. It's his first MMA show. It should be really good. He's a very talented kid. And we also have Valerie Albert, who is doing her first MMA match. So we have a man and a woman gonna put the gloves on and put on a good show for this Friday.
Excellent. Can't wait for that, and can't wait for everything coming in the future from Team Bushido as well. Nabil, thank you for everything, man. Thanks for a great career. Thanks for the time. Thanks for picking up the phone when I call. You're just you're a true giant in Canadian mixed martial arts, and I'm sad to see you go, but I'm hopeful for the next generation, man.
Hey, thank you, Carlin. Thank you, guys, and thank you all the fans, and thanks to all of my sponsors that have ever sponsored me in the past. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. But this time, I'll be in the background screaming as loud as I can for my guys. So make sure you guys scream just as loud for them as you did for me. Thank you very much, guys.
Excellent. Nabil Khatib, and make sure you check out teambushido.com to read Nabil's press release about his retirement. Very heartfelt stuff, and shows why he really is the Canadian Randy Couture. And we'll be back on In the Cage with Bards on NextSportStar.com right after this.
I woke up Saturday.